Most people will spend their entire lives one decision away from wealth, and never know it. The difference between the person who retires rich and the person who retires broke is not intelligence. It is not luck. It is not even income. It is a single psychological trait, one that can be measured in a 4-year-old child. This is the wealth code. Stay with me until the end, because later in this video I am going to reveal the one specific thing that wealthy people do every morning that has nothing to do with money, and everything to do with why they keep making it. In 1972, a psychologist named Walter Mischel sat children down, one at a time, in a plain room at Stanford University. He placed a single marshmallow in front of each child. Then he made them an offer. You can eat this marshmallow right now. Or, you can wait 15 minutes, and I will give you 2. Then he left the room. What happened next became one of the most cited studies in the history of psychology. But the real story is not about the children who waited. It is about what happened to all of them, decades later. The children who waited, who resisted that single marshmallow, grew up to have higher SAT scores, lower rates of substance abuse, better health outcomes, and dramatically higher incomes than the children who ate immediately. One 15-minute test at age 4 predicted financial success 40 years later with startling accuracy. That should disturb you. Because it means the game may have started before you even knew you were playing. Here is what no other finance channel will say plainly. Most people are not poor because the system failed them, though the system absolutely does stack the odds. Most people are not poor because they lack information. They are financially stuck because they have been psychologically conditioned, since childhood, by every screen and advertisement and social pressure around them, to choose the marshmallow. Every single time. And the people profiting most from the global economy have spent billions of dollars making sure that conditioning gets stronger every. This is not an excuse. It is an explanation, and a crucial one. Because it means the cycle reinforces itself. Financial stress makes delayed gratification harder. Harder delayed gratification produces worse financial decisions. Worse decisions deepen the stress. Most people are not failing. They are trapped inside a feedback loop that almost nobody teaches them to see. Now let us talk about who built the environment you are making decisions inside. Because the battle against your impulses is not a fair fight, and it has not been for decades. The consumer credit industry in the United States alone generates over $170 billion annually. Not from the wealthy. From people who buy now and pay later, with interest that compounds against them, silently, month after month. Buy now pay later platforms, companies like Klarna and Afterpay, have engineered a product specifically designed to remove friction from impulsive spending. They are not offering convenience. They are monetizing your inability to wait. The fast food industry spends $4 billion a year on advertising in the US alone, and their entire model is optimized around one psychological principle. Immediate satisfaction. Low cost. Zero patience required. Social media algorithms do not show you what is true. They show you what is emotionally activating. And what is most emotionally activating, to your ancient limbic brain, is status. Other people consuming. Other people winning. The implication that you are falling behind right now if you are not spending right now. Every notification is a marshmallow. Instagram did not accidentally become the most powerful shopping platform in history. It was designed, feature by feature, algorithm by algorithm, to exploit the exact psychological vulnerabilities that Mischel identified in 1972. The system knows your weaknesses better than you do. And it is not neutral. Retention peak. But here is the part that will actually change how you see money. The marshmallow experiment has a sequel that almost nobody talks about. Years after the original study, researchers went back and looked more carefully at the children who waited. And they discovered something that overturned the simple narrative of willpower being the answer. The children who were most likely to wait were not the ones with the strongest willpower. They were the ones who trusted that the second marshmallow would actually arrive. In follow-up experiments, researchers divided children into two groups. In one group, adults made a promise before the test, and broke it. They said they would bring better art supplies, and they did not. In the other group, adults made the same promise, and kept it. The children whose trust had just been broken waited an average of 3 minutes before eating the marshmallow. The children whose trust had been honored waited an average of 12. Delayed gratification is not primarily a willpower problem. It is a trust problem. People do not fail to save because they are weak. They fail to save because, consciously or not, they do not believe the future reward will materialize. They have seen promises broken. By employers. By governments. By financial systems that were supposed to protect them. When someone says they cannot stop spending, what they are often really saying is, I do not trust the future enough to sacrifice for it. That changes everything about how you approach this. Wealthy people do not have superhuman willpower. That is the myth. What they have is a different relationship with time, and they have deliberately built structures that make willpower largely unnecessary. Here is the specific cognitive pattern that separates them. They do not experience future rewards as abstract. They make them concrete and emotionally real, today. A wealthy person who is saving for financial independence does not think I am sacrificing today for some vague freedom later. They have done the mental work to make that future vivid, specific, detailed, emotionally loaded. They can feel what it costs them to spend impulsively, because the future version of themselves is real to them in a way that most people never develop. This is called episodic future thinking, and psychologist Daniel Shatter at Harvard has shown it dramatically increases the ability to delay gratification when practiced deliberately. The second pattern is automation. Wealthy people do not rely on willpower because they have engineered their environment so that the right decision happens without a decision. Direct investment transfers that trigger on payday. Credit cards either locked away or used only within strict preset boundaries. Purchasing decisions delayed by a mandatory waiting period, often 48 hours, for anything above a defined threshold. They remove the moment of temptation entirely. Because they know, as the neuroscience confirms, that in the moment of temptation, they will lose. The third pattern is the morning ritual. And this is what I promised you earlier. Wealthy individuals, across demographics, across industries, disproportionately begin the day with something that has nothing to do with money. Reflection. Exercise. Reading. A period of deliberate discomfort chosen by them. This is not self-help theater. It is prefrontal cortex activation. They are warming up the long-term thinking brain before the day demands they use it. They are practicing the felt experience of choosing discomfort now for a benefit later, every single morning, so that when the real financial decisions arrive, the pattern is already running. 1. Audit your trust deficit before you audit your budget. Ask yourself honestly, do you believe you will be rewarded for financial patience? If the answer is no, or even uncertain, that is the wound to heal first. Find one area of your financial life where you committed to something and it paid off. Build the evidence base for trusting the future. Small wins here matter enormously, they are not symbolic, they are neurological. 2. Make the future viscerally real. Do not write down a savings goal in numbers. Write down what that money means, in sensory, emotional, specific detail. What does the morning look like when you are financially free? What does it feel like to never check your account before buying groceries? The brain responds to emotional vividness, not spreadsheets. Use that. 3. Build the pre-commitment device. Before you need willpower, remove the choice. Set up an automatic transfer to savings or investment the day your salary lands, not at the end of the month. Pay yourself first is not a cliché. It is a psychological architecture decision that makes willpower irrelevant. If the money is not there to spend, the impulse cannot be triggered. 4. Install a friction layer for spending. Delete every one-click purchase option. Remove saved card details from retail sites. Create a mandatory 48-hour delay rule for any non-essential purchase above $50. The research is overwhelming. Desire that is not acted on immediately decreases by an average of 30% within 24 hours. You are not denying yourself. You are waiting for the real you, not the triggered you, to make the decision. You do not lack willpower, you lack a designed environment that makes the right choice easier than the wrong one. The marshmallow was never really about marshmallows. It was about whether you trust that waiting has a payoff, and whether your environment is set up to prove it. Every financial decision you make is a vote for the version of yourself you believe in. The wealthy did not find more discipline. They found better architecture. If this shifted something for you, subscribe, because tomorrow we go even deeper. Next, watch our video on why most financial advice actively keeps middle-class people stuck, and the specific language patterns that reveal it. It will change what you hear when someone tells you money advice. This is the Wealth Code.